cast of the Why So Serious Show on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
It is Monday, and it is time for the Why So Serious Show. I'm Jesse Morrison, joined alongside a whole bunch of people: Jeremy Schnell, Mallory Schnell, Max Bechtold, Matt Kling, Evan Osherwitz, back and better than ever, like Mike and Mike in the morning. And guess what? Guess who is really back?
Who?
Pablo Sandoval. He is back and better than ever at summer camp. Time to share my screen here. Oh, and it is sharing, not the ASU sign-in that I want to share here. But
by the way, Jesse, this is kind of a doing it like on the fly. But have you seen this Deshaun Jackson news? Because if not, go look it up and decide if we should talk about it.
I need to see this. Because some guy on Twitter complained about it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So
what happened now? Shares anti-Semitic quotes attributed to Hitler on Instagram. Oh no.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about this. That's not what I was expecting to see at all. That's like the last thing.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Jeremy doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
very bad.
You know what's good though?
On a count of three, let's all say, "What are you doing?" Deshaun Jackson, one.
What are we doing?
What are you
He should be cut.
Dude, look at the tummy though. The tummy.
Food is really good.
He's got a dip in there too, right?
Yeah. This is a cloud of unhealthiness.
But also, they were told they can't dip on the like they're not allowed to spit. So like it's just a lot of unhealthiness and like breaking the rules and everything.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Mr. Pablo. He gives me hope though. You know, this is not me fat shaming him. It's just me saying that, you know what? I respect him for playing one of the most athletic positions on the baseball field. In that, you know, in the shape that he is in, because, you know, during quarantine, I don't think he was hitting the gym at all, and I don't think he cared.
No, he was just doing leg day, leg day.
Yeah,
From the waist
calves
down,
are massive. Look at
yeah,
those calves.
It looks like
There's
he's
not a
got
lot
some
of
power.
it's just funny because like there's not a lot of leg there. He's not that tall. Like he's not as tall as like
his torso is very long now that I'm looking at it. Like his legs are really short, actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Human Anatomy featuring Pablo Sandoval.
Max Bechtold, are you our human anatomy expert now?
I mean, I can be if you want me to be.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very long torso. I'm just saying. I gotta give him credit.
Yeah, but apparently baseball's coming back. That'll be fun.
Yeah, apparently. I'll get to my what are we doing now.
There's a schedule, so.
Yeah, apparently. But we'll get to somebody else who put on a lot of weight in quarantine, and we'll throw this one over to Max because I didn't watch it at all because I got the opportunity to call baseball games surprisingly this weekend. So we'll throw it over to Max for PGA Tour talk with 9 protein shakes a day, Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah, so apparently his full diet was like 5 eggs, 6 pieces of bacon, like 4 protein shakes, snacks throughout the day, a steak, and potatoes. Like
Every day?
Yes, every day. It's insane. He I bet, I don't think we've heard official numbers, but I would venture to say from his rookie season to now, he's put on 100 pounds at least. And it's incredible. And he's gotten better. Like, he genuinely might be the best player on tour. And that might be a development that is completely new since quarantine. Like, that little time in quarantine where he just put on that extra little weight and got a little bit more length off his tee shots, it might have elevated him to the best player on tour. Like, I got to give him credit. He figured it out.
He's still a terrible person, right?
Oh, yeah. Awful person. We've always knew. Allegedly not a good person. I don't know.
Didn't he yell at some cameraman this weekend?
Yeah. He yelled at a cameraman and said it was bad for his brand that the cameraman kept filming, which that just tells me that Bryson is really delusional and doesn't know his brand because his brand is yelling at the cameraman. Like, he's got to embrace the villain. Like, that's what my problem is with him is he doesn't know how to embrace being a villain. Like, he is the villain. Like, there's no way he can recoup his reputation to be a good guy again. Like, he just has to embrace being the villain at this point.
So if he wins the Masters and he's just villainous, will people love him or hate him?
Hate him, but that's the good thing. Like, it's just like Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed's career got so elevated because he was a villain.
Why are you talking about yourself?
Yeah, why are you talking about yourself?
Fair. But that's what I'm saying is, like, Patrick Reed would just be a regular old boring Masters winner if he wasn't a villain. But he is a villain. People hate him. People love to hate him. People hate to love him. Everything with Patrick Reed. Like, Bryson can be that next person if Bryson wins a major.
One of my favorite moments of going to the Waste Management Phoenix Open with Max is some random dude comes up and says, "What's up, Mr. Reed?"
Oh, it happens all the time. I've been at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I've been mistaken for Patrick Reed at least 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
And speaking of people that have lost weight in quarantine, Zion Williamson birthday today. Big happy 20th birthday to him. I can't believe that he's
He's 20?
Mallory, put it on the poll. Are you shocked that Zion is only 20?
I'm like 4 years older than him.
Hold on. Better question. Are you shocked that he's on the cover of 2K? Because I am.
No.
He's played like 5 games.
Yeah,
Remarkable.
he's played
like
a
the most
quarter of an
remarkable
NBA season, and they put him on there over Kawhi, who's still.
Kawhi is the least marketable player in the NBA.
It's criminal that you muted me. Second of all, Kawhi is
the muted reaction is so great.
He's playing in the league's biggest market. He might win another title this year, and he's the top 5 player in the league.
Zion
How are you gonna put?
Zion is so much more marketable than the guy that
hasn't
like
even played a full
guy.
season yet.
We have a nice sound to play for you guys.
Yeah, speaking of people that lost weight in quarantine, Zion. You got to turn it around. You got to show it.
It's Carole Baskin at Big Cat Rescue, and our guy Zion is turning 20 years old.
This is high tech.
Cool cats and kittens that over time have loved watching you play and grow over the years, and can't wait to watch you dunk on everybody in Orlando. We're always rooting for the coolest cat around, and that's Big Z. Stay cool.
But because here's the thing.
First off, this darn pandemic's going on so long, I forgot Tiger King existed.
Right?
Oh, it's
I
back
agree.
better than ever.
Like, are we circling back around to Tiger King being relevant?
Essentially, because we're gonna have NBA basketball again.
Apparently, Carole Baskin is so pumped, dude.
Carole Baskin is a big basketball fan.
Carole basketball.
He's a big attention fan, isn't? I think.
No, that was a good joke, Jesse.
No, he's got to walk to the bathroom. Dad jokes mean that he has to go to the bathroom.
But did she say I've loved watching you grow over the years? I don't think she knows.
He had 1 year in college. He's had like
He's a high school sensation. I mean,
high school sensation, yeah.
Also, does Carole Baskin come up and call you, like, when you meet her, does she say, "Oh, hi, cool cat. Hi, cool kitten"?
oh, she definitely milks it.
Like, she calls everybody a cool cat and kitten. I'm not a cat. Like, I'm good being called a human here.
I want to know how much her cameos cost.
Was that a cameo?
Gotta be at least 300. Gotta be at least 300.
I
Probably
didn't
closer to
want her on the
500.
show.
Wait, you know who's on cameo?
$199.
How much?
200. If we all split it, we can get a cameo.
$200 or
Let's get her to
$200.
do our intro.
Wait. No, you don't want a Carole Baskin cameo. You want a Mike Kenna cameo because she's on Cameo now.
Oh, wow. Can we pay her a little extra to pronounce her name as Maya Kenna?
What is she going for right now for a cameo? Because we can get her on the show.
Only 200, but
Get her on the
I
show.
would much rather get a cameo from Mike Kenna than
We'd have a lot of questions for her.
Only $40 for my cameo.
Wow, we're totally doing that. What is that?
Whoever
10?
loses the fantasy league has to pay that.
Except for my dad. So We should move on though, because we really buried the lead because we're the Why So Serious show, and we talk about Pablo Sandoval.
And it's time for Jesse's helmet segment.
Wait! I just have one more cameo thing. We can get Barb for $59.
What?
All right, we'll talk about this after the show. But Jesse's got some exciting stuff to share with you all because this is the big news of the day, guys.
Yeah, this really is the big news of the day.
The helmet of Patrick Mahomes, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So we really buried the lead. Patrick Mahomes, highest paid player in sports history.
But the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet is what really matters here. This is a Visus 01. Visus came out a few years ago. It's a revolutionary helmet style. It's a different shape. It's not the normal round shape. Players say it's light.
Not a shut this week, guys.
Yeah, it's not a shut this week. This is considered one of the safest, if not the safest helmet in football.
And he can afford to buy the entire company.
Yeah, and the company went bankrupt, but somebody bought it, so it looks like Patty Mahomes will remain in this helmet as he plays out the years of his massive contract. But I think it's a great look. Alex Smith wears it. It's really popular with this Chiefs franchise. I've seen some players in college wearing it. ASU players have worn it.
Tell me about the face mask here, Jesse. What?
Face mask's a little different.
It's a little open.
It's one of the. Well, this is just because he's a quarterback, but the face mask follows Riddell, and I believe Shutt has this now, where the classic face masks would attach right here, but these attach over on the sides. That's supposed to be a little bit better for like face mask resistance or whatever when you do collide face masks with another player or into the turf or whatever.
Any questions for Jesse about this beautiful helmet?
Max?
Do you prefer this or the old Riddell? Wait, do you like this or the old Revo Speed helmets they used to use? Because I think this is really ugly.
They still wear Revo Speeds. A lot of players do. I don't know. I really like these. They've really grown on me actually. More than I thought I liked them when they first came out as far as appearance goes, but I recognize how like revolutionary they are in helmet technology. Max might have some thoughts. He's the only other person that really cares about uniforms.
What?
You care about uniforms, right?
Sure.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think the helmet looks cool.
Max spitting the truth.
I mean, hey, if Max thinks it's cool, it's cool.
But speaking of Mahomes, Jeremy, Max, do you remember back in 2016 when Patrick Mahomes threw for 540 yards,
Mallory
5
remembers it.
passing touchdowns, and still lost to Arizona State?
Mallory remembers it. That was the Caleb Balaj game, Mallory.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite game.
Mallory stayed up to watch that game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys saw him in college, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Dang, I wish I had been there.
From that day on till, obviously now, I have maintained that Mahomes should be the number one pick in that draft. I said it from that day. I have the Twitter receipts to prove it, that I said he should be the number one pick. So because of that, I have just rode with him all the way. I picked him in fantasy in like the 12th round in his first year as a starter. Absolutely crushed in my league. I will always take him in whenever I can in fantasy now. He is forever my favorite player. So because he proved me right that one time. I take that very seriously.
Even though he lost that game that we were at.
Correct.
But it is probably the most fun experience besides the Washington game that we rushed.
That game was bad, even though it was a field rush. It was like 13-7.
The game rankings we can do these game rankings if we'd like, but Texas Tech had to be number 3 on the list. Go ahead, Max.
Okay, so now I'm looking at cameos. So the Christopher McDonald, who plays Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore, his thing on Cameo is literally Shooter McGavin is his name on it. So you can get a cameo from Shooter McGavin, not from the actor, from Shooter McGavin.
Mallory, put it on the poll. Would you want a cameo from Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore? He would probably send you to the 19th green at 9 p.m. or the 9th green at 9 p.m. or whatever that was.
$220.
Easy money.
220 for Shooter McGavin.
Easy money.
He's one of the most hated movie characters of all time.
Yeah, but what other gigs did that guy get that you can think of? Like, he probably does need the money.
Max probably knows like all of his movies.
He's in a couple things. Tommy Lauren is only $80 on Cameo.
What?
Wait, she's on Cameo?
Tommy Lauren is only $80 on Cameo.
Her to be their kid.
That's a pass for me.
Hard pass.
Reasonable price, but not worth it.
I mean, I gotta give her credit. She knows her price. $80?
Getting cameos from people.
Yeah, she's double the price of Mike Henner. So
she can go for a lot more than 80 for certain groups of people, I feel like.
Yeah, none of them are on this show though. Thankfully.
Correct.
Yes.
Going back to Patrick Mahomes though, and Max's opinion on him. The Chicago Bears, they drafted Mitchell Trubisky because white guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell Trubisky
was the number one pick that year.
Who was the number one pick, you said?
Miles Garrett.
That's right. That's a good pick, though. That guy was insane.
He's still insane.
I think.
I actually like him, and what Sidney Crosby did to PK Subban is worse than what Myles Garrett did to Mason Rudolph.
I don't agree with that.
I 100% agree with that. Okay, Miles.
You're just a Sidney Crosby lover.
Sidney Crosby had concussion history, and he took another man's head and slammed it into the ice. It is the most disrespectful least sportsmanship thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I can't stand that.
Nobody talks about the thing that Gronk did to the Bills.
Zoom in on any scrum behind the net, you'll see that happen to somebody at least once. It might not be the ice, it might be the glass, but that's not any better.
You don't need to show it.
That's a dime a dozen, Jesse. You need to watch more hockey, bud.
Can you play the movie next segment? Mallory's gonna start off. She wants the first take though on Hamilton.
Oh, we're going into Hamilton now?
Well, we need to play movies with Max just because I want to play it. No, Jeremy wants to show okay, good. He's not going to show it. He wanted to show Gronk being unsportsmanlike just because he likes to bash the pitch.
It's probably the worst. It's probably worse.
Time for everyone's favorite segment.
Max, say hi, guys, and then throw it to Mallory.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job. You'll always have Patty.
Here's Movies with Matt.
Hi, guys.
Mallory.
Okay, so I'm going to start off this Hamilton talk. Came out the original Broadway cast on July 3rd on Disney+. I have to say I was not on the Hamilton bandwagon back when it was, like, really famous. But I did know, I was smart enough in October 2018 to take this picture behind me when I was walking to Wicked. I took this picture of the Richard Rodgers Theater because I knew one day it would be important. Now, today is the day that is
Hilton, hold on. Move your head. Like, bend down. There we go.
Oh, you thought you were
I thought it was Hilton. I didn't know.
Okay, first thing I want to talk about, what happened to Peggy? Peggy was in the first act. What happened to Peggy, but justice for Peggy.
She said like one word.
Yeah, she was like,
Peggy.
Hold on. Have you guys seen the Saturday Night Live sketch Dunice?
No.
Oh, so it's Kristen Wiig as this like woman with it's on the Lawrence Welk show, and he has Barbie doll arms, and she's an irrelevant character that doesn't shut up and whatnot. When they like were singing the Schuyler Sisters and the Peggy line came, I immediately thought, damn, this would have been a great Saturday Night Live sketch with Dunice.
Mallory, what else did you find amusing in Hamilton?
Well, King George, it was trending on Twitter. Because I watched it live, like not live, but I mean like right at 3 a.m. when it came out. So I was following along on Twitter.
A lot of money to see Hamilton on the road.
Jonathan Groff as King George. Okay, Max, stop flexing.
There's me in the Richard Rodgers Theater.
Here's me outside the Richard Pryor Theater.
I didn't spend any money on it, and I still saw it, and it's good for me. And I win at the end of the day. F all haters.
How about that?
Okay, what do you think about King George? Yes, honestly, Roth has an amazing voice, but did we need the close-up? Did we need the close-ups, Jeremy? Did it bother you?
We needed them.
I think we needed them.
Why was his bottom lip so wet the entire time?
All adds to it.
I feel bad for the people who were in the first few rows every night.
He was far back on the stage. He wasn't spitting.
So is that in the actual play? That he's supposed to spit there, or was that just an accident?
Oh.
It was I've never seen someone spit like that.
I mean, I don't think we've ever seen someone spit like that because when we go to Broadway shows, we're not that close. We're not in their face like that.
Yeah, we don't see how much they really get into their role.
He was singing though, for real. He was singing.
Put it on the poll. Was he singing?
He was. He was singing.
Was he the King George?
Whoever was you're the Glee fan.
Was Jonathan Groff the King George when you went to see it?
I didn't have any of the original cast. I was the first one after the original cast.
That's false. There's one person who's been in the original, one person from the ensemble who's been there the whole time for all 5 years. I think his name's Thayer or something. So you did get one original cast.
Yeah. I had a great cast. I mean, the person who played Lafayette Jefferson, when I saw it, was a Tony winner. He was the original genie on Aladdin on Broadway and won a Tony for that. And then his next role was as Jefferson Lafayette in Hamilton, and I was able to see him. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, I want to Mallory, do you have anything else that amused you before I go to Max? Has an amazing theory on this, but Mallory, I'll let you wrap up, and then I have a hot take.
And then I have my essay too. I'll go after you.
I want to discuss the ending, the gasp, Eliza's gasp. I've been watching Hamilton interviews nonstop, and Lin-Manuel says that it's up to whoever plays Eliza to decide what the ending means. Philippa Sue, who played the original Eliza, said that it was different for her every night depending on the audience. I personally think that it's Hamilton, or some people think that it's Lynn showing her oh, your story is being told because that's the song, Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. So I think she's gasping because she sees that the audience she sees that the audience was there and that their story was told.
Maxwell, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Well,
amazing. It's kind of hot take, I guess.
So okay,
I want to know his reaction to the ending of the
okay.
To what Mallory said. Okay.
I mean, I'm not as concerned ever with the ending of Hamilton. That's always kind of been a part for me that I don't listen to that very often because I listen to Hamilton all the time and I just don't listen to it very much. So I haven't even really thought of it. So I'm actually gonna go back and watch it just to see what it's like on that.
The last line. It's just her gasping. So
yeah,
I think it's her dying.
I can see that,
or her reaction to Hamilton dying.
Like I said, a lot of different interpretations for that. One of the theories that I've really bought into that I haven't heard a lot of, but I think it's actually really interesting way to go watch the play, and it kind of gives you a fresh way to watch the play. Is Aaron Burr is the hero of the play. Mm-hmm. He is not the villain of the play, and he is the protagonist of it. He's the narrator of the story. He is, when you look back at all these founding fathers' history, he's kind of got the best record as far as actually being a good person back then.
Except for murder.
What?
Except for murder.
But it was, again, they explained this, is that he was not a good shot. He didn't want to be killed. He wanted to be a father for his daughter. He thought that Hamilton was going to be taking aim. Hamilton had his glasses on. Hamilton was one of the best shooters in the entire Revolutionary War. I mean, so he had to do that out of defense for himself. But when you really look at it, he was this guy with some great ideas, great plans, great thoughts, who really wanted greatness, but he was fearing for his life and was kept on getting overstaged by this brash, arrogant, cocky person who sure outworked Burr for sure. But, Burr was proven. Hamilton says it himself in the song Nonstop, that Burr was a better lawyer than him. Burr was better at all this stuff than him. It's just Hamilton came out and was just so much louder than him throughout it and kept on overstaging him, kept on taking attention from Washington away from him, and, made the decision that Burr, one of his oldest friends, would not be president in favor of his greatest enemy, Thomas Jefferson. So there's like so many times that Burr was wronged by Hamilton, but Burr really never wronged Hamilton himself. I mean, until obviously, he killed him. But
he killed him.
I like how the first song after Alexander Hamilton has Aaron Burr basically telling Alexander Hamilton, talk less, smile more. Mm-hmm. What does Alexander Hamilton do the entire show? Straight talks, talk, don't smile,
But when you really think of Hamilton as like a villain, like you think of all the things he does, I mean, he is having basically an emotional affair with his sister-in-law, has an actual affair that he pays off someone to cover up, and then also essentially just tells his son to go do this duel on his behalf, and then tells him to not actually shoot at him, so then he gets killed. So he basically, unintentionally leads to the death of his own son. Like, when you really think about it, Hamilton is not the hero of this play.
No.
Okay, I want to go next. And what I wanted to say first was that Max didn't mention this, but we talked about this, that, if this was in 2020, they would have probably brought up how Aaron Burr was a big-time abolitionist. That's also what makes him. Hamilton was a sort of abolitionist, but Burr was like a full abolitionist.
Burr basically got like slavery outlawed in New York completely, like himself. Like, he was the one who brought those laws forward and stuff.
Yeah. So my first thought is that Burr is like the high school football player, the quarterback that, gets the cheerleader girlfriend and is the prom king. And Burr is the kind of nerdy guy and that's really smart, doesn't really know how to, communicate his smart ideas, might be a little bit bullied. That was what I thought when. Hold on,
did you mean Hamilton was the quarterback or Burr was the quarterback?
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Hamilton was the quarterback and Burr was I'm sorry. I misphrased that. That's a word. But my hot take, I kind of wanted to talk just about how amazing like the acting and the music was. It's just phenomenal. It's like the way they change between the rapping and the the singing and then like the few tiny little moments of dialogue, I think is amazing. And it goes from like classic show music into like, practically trap music back to more like, 90s rap or 80s rap with like turntables and stuff. I thought that was incredible and kept, that was my favorite thing about it. And then I thought the acting was really great. However, my hot take is that even though I talked about how much I think he's cool last week, I think Lin-Manuel Miranda is like the 4th or 5th best character. I think he's not the best rapper ever. His voice is good. I don't think it's great. My favorite person was the person that played Lafayette Jefferson. That was my favorite.
Daveed Diggs is great.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Followed probably by
George Washington was my favorite.
Jeremy liked the George Washington actor. You didn't like him?
No, but nobody is talking about Leslie Odom Jr., who, in my opinion,
that was
maybe Leslie Odom Jr. gives maybe one of the best performances I've ever seen in any kind of movie, play, anything. This performance by Leslie Odom Jr. was unbelievable.
That was number 2 for me. Okay. I was about to get that. Leslie Odom Jr. number 2. The person that played, Mallory knows the name again, the King George character, I thought was just absolutely hilarious. And when he says that like they're free, that like whole like they're free song, and then just leaves with just like the It's just such a little subtle moment that I don't think a lot of people would notice, but I thought it was just so funny. And then after that, I would say I would go with Lin-Manuel 4, and then probably I liked
George Washington.
I like George Washington and his wife kind of the same.
Yeah. Well, One Last Time, Christopher Jackson's performance of One Last Time, the song, is unbelievable. I don't know, like, I'm not a huge fan of his performance other than that. I actually like the person that I saw on Broadway a little bit better than Christopher Jackson as Washington overall, but his rendition of One Last Time is amazing.
Don't forget about Renee. I forget
Renee Elise Goldberry.
Yeah, she won a Tony for her performance as Angelica.
She's great.
Yeah.
Max,
justice for Peggy.
Max, before we move on to Matt's take on it, Jeremy. Before we move on to Matt's take about it, I want your grade that you normally give, movies and everything that you see.
Well, I mean, and I'll give a little context on it because it really is almost a little bit impossible for me to grade because, I mean, I saw this, my 21st birthday present from my parents was going to see Hamilton. And then 2 months later, I had a pretty serious injury and really couldn't do much, but it was right in the time when Hamilton, was kind of a big deal for me. So I just listened to the soundtrack over and over and over and over again during that time. And then, like I said, like my first time really doing anything afterwards was seeing Hamilton in Phoenix on the traveling show. I was in the top row of the top deck of the auditorium and was able to see it. So I can't really grade Hamilton fairly because it's my favorite, music ever. It's my favorite play ever. It's my favorite everything. So I'm going to give it an A+, of course. But, I mean, it's a flawless play with amazing music. And there's a lot of, criticism about it right now that's fair with how it, doesn't really touch on the issues of slavery. It's obviously very timely right now for a lot of the discussions going on in the country. But, what I always think is it's like, I'm going to defer to a lot of, people of color and what their opinions are on it because it gave a lot of amazing jobs and gave a lot of amazing spotlight to people. And I think that's something that we can't forget about the play. And so I think there's a lot of people jumping on it without really thinking about it first. I think we need to really have those discussions and think about it. But I think it's a lot more complex than just a black and white issue on it.
Yeah, and I think that, I'm going to give it an A+ to, I'm going to say 98 or 99. Like, literally, like you said it when we were talking about this, like, they could have added, like, one more little line in there to make it more,
a couple of lines would have gone a long ways too.
Yeah.
If they would have, hit a little bit on slavery a few times and some of the flaws of these characters a few times, it would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah. They do. The thing that I do think that they should get credit for is the fact that they do mention that, like, they mention that slavery is wrong in the play.
Yeah.
And they definitely hit Jefferson on it too. They really, really avoid it with Washington, but they do hit Jefferson on it.
And deservedly so, because he was kind of the biggest, I'm from Virginia. I love going to Monticello. I went to Jefferson Forest High School. But, Jefferson was the biggest hypocrite of all time about slavery, pretty much. Because he deep down knew it was wrong, said it was wrong, said it shouldn't happen. However, it's a somewhat myth. I don't know if it's a myth or if it's true. Like, people say that it might have been.
They had an affair with one of the slaves.
He's known to that.
Yeah. It's either him or his brother. Either way, it's still that he
took advantage of that.
Yeah, that he took advantage of.
And still had slaves after talking about
after talking about how it was wrong.
But they do hit Jefferson on it because, like, the whole cabinet battle #1, I think it's the first cabinet battle, is basically Hamilton just hitting on Jefferson for owning slaves. Yeah. So,
Evan, did you watch it?
No, I thought we were talking about Dougie Hamilton, bro. He's gonna help the Canes so much when he comes back, eh? Like, I was so ill prepared for this, but I learned a lot from you guys. So appreciate
Before
that.
I do my essay,
Matt essay will probably be the best thing that we've heard so far.
Definitely.
And I have
You have to wrap it. You have to wrap it.
Oh, I can't wrap
Oh,
it.
please,
I will
please
say,
wrap it.
I just
Someone
watched,
give this man a beat.
before coming on, I watched the first act again, and one of the emotional scenes in that act was when Hamilton found out that Lawrence got murdered, and Lawrence was the one who was trying to free slaves. So, going off of that, I thought that was very much an appropriate, part of the story is to include Lawrence, who wanted to free.
And like I said, like I do think it's a problem that they never mention it with Washington, and that Washington is, held up as whatever in the play. But also it'd be inaccurate if it wasn't, because, the play does take place in the 1700s. People weren't just sitting there and, saying to Washington, oh, you're great, except you own slaves. Like, Washington was a god at that time. Like, he was like a god amongst men. Like, they're not just going to criticize him at that time. So it is a tough line to kind of walk with that.
Yeah, and I would like to also say that we're a bunch of white people talking about this. It would be good if we had a black voice on this, but unfortunately,
Absolutely.
we do not.
Also, the fact that they just made a joke of John Adams and didn't have a character for John Adams, like, I don't know. Did you all watch Liberty's Kids?
Adams.
When you were little?
What is it called?
Liberty's Kids. It was on PBS.
Yes, I loved Liberty's Kids. That was my show.
It was that show, like that kind of. I don't remember them going into depth on Hamilton because it was based around Franklin.
Wasn't it pretty woke? Like, didn't they have like a whole episode with like the black character who was like talking about like slavery and everything? Like, I think I remember that. Like, that was good stuff to watch if you were like a little kid.
Best PBS kids show ever.
Yeah,
and it had the perfect amount of episodes. There was only like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, and then they re-air them on CBS. I think
I'm gonna watch some Liberty's Kids. I feel like I'd like to go back and see how woke it really was. How they tell history. I think that'd be interesting.
All right,
but Matt, I want to hear this essay. We've been trying to get to it for a while.
Yeah, and then I have a follow-up to something else I watched on another Disney property. So,
and I watched something too, so I want to talk about that.
Going into the recording of the play with no expectations except a lot of rapping, I came out of it feeling like I learned a good chunk about the start of our country. Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton tells a great story of our founding fathers during the Revolutionary War time through some of the first couple presidencies. The best part of this film was that it was kept as a play. And while I would love to see this story played out with more space as a movie, the backdrop and whatnot, put me in New York in 1776 and whatnot, seeing it as a play was fine. It was like watching a concert on TV, something I've done hundreds of times. But what Disney was able to do in getting the taping of the play from the original room where it happened, the Richard Rodgers Theater on Broadway in New York, should be a turning point in how theatrical productions can be produced to the masses. Look, Broadway's closed for the rest of the year because of the coronavirus, so people can't see Wicked, Waitress, The Book of Mormon, and others. These are big-name musicals that should tape performances and partner with streaming platforms or networks to bring the show to more people than those who can only go by paying hundreds of dollars of tickets. Look, it's not a bad idea to produce theater on television. NBC and Fox did some televised productions, Sound of Music, Grease, Hairspray, Rent, and others, albeit they hired celebrities to fill those main roles.
And most of those were awful.
Yeah, those shows did not meet the ratings expectations, and Rent Live wasn't even live for the most part because one of the main cast members broke his foot during a dress rehearsal, so they had to use footage from the dress rehearsal during the live show.
At that point, you just recast.
Look, I can recall an SNL sketch involving characters from different Broadway shows trying to figure out how to save Broadway. And I think I know a solution. Expand the availability of Broadway to be broadcast to the masses as long as there is a fair shake to the cast members.
I think I'm actually going to be with. I think I'm just going to speak for Mallory here.
No, let Mallory speak.
I'm going to, but
she hasn't spoken in a while. Let her speak. This is something that she's been wanting to do. Let her speak.
Mallory.
Okay. Our family friend is a stage manager, works in the Broadway industry. And I had this discussion with her the other day when my mother had the same take and said, I'd love to just sit down and watch all the Broadway shows on my television. But, when you think about it, you're paying a $6.99 a month to watch a show that people paid like $1,000 to go see in a theater. Like, if you think about it right now, like all the actors and actresses on Broadway are being paid nothing. If everyone has access to all the shows to watch, like right now in quarantine, no one's gonna go see them when Broadway opens back up in January 2021. I think that Hamilton needed to be filmed like this because it was such like a revolutionary play, and the original cast
that was great.
Need to see it with the original cast, but I do not think that other shows should do this.
I'm not saying all shows should do this, and I'm not saying that they should just be thrown on a Netflix or onto Hulu. Like, think of how the movie industry is doing right now. Think of how the fact that if you want to see a new film, like Max, our great friend, who had to pay $20 to watch The King of Staten Island, or had to pay $20 to watch Trolls World Tour, stuff.
I don't regret it.
Yeah. If you can do that to put a play, just put it on demand like that, but make people pay the amount that they do. I get it. I would be fine if they put out Hamilton like they did The King of Staten Island. I would have paid $12.
Real quick. Here's the thing about all this. Hamilton's been out for a while now, almost a decade, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It's like 7 years, I think,
5
on
years.
Broadway.
Okay. So it's been out for a while. People have had the chance to go and see it. Now, for the people who have been on a waiting list or something and that didn't get to see it, how do you think they feel at this point? And then also, for a movie for a show like Wicked, to say, okay, like we've been out for a very, very long time. Maybe now is a time to release something, because I think they have a movie in the works or something. Cats just did a movie, but it doesn't. I mean, like,
yeah. But here's my thing is, and this is what the thing with Hamilton was, and I agree personally with Mallory, because I think seeing these plays in a theater is obviously the ideal and best way to see them. It's the best way to see them for the actors. It's the best way to see them for the people involved. It's the best overall experience. But something like, we mentioned Wicked, I hope that I'm getting that she was actually in this, but someone like me will never be able to see Idina Menzel in Wicked. And that kind of sucks.
Wickedly talented.
But like, I'll never be able to see her on it. And like, this was a great way for me to be able to see Leslie Odom Jr., Lin-Manuel Miranda, David Diggs, Philippe Sue. It was a great way to see those people. And so I think there has to be some kind of balance where, like, it is great to see, people who made these roles iconic, who are iconic actors, being able to see them portray those roles is a great thing. It's such, they just need to find a balance to fit. And I think it would be that, not every play can do it. Something like Hamilton, Wicked, Book of Mormon might be able to do it, but you can't just, go down Broadway and look at all the marquees and say, oh, we'll put that on Netflix, we'll put that on Prime, we'll put that on this, we'll put that on that. It could also
be good for these shows. It could make positive publicity for them.
And like, you remember, seeing The Sound of Music on NBC, or Hairspray on NBC featuring Ariana Grande, or Grease Live, or Rent Live, or all these shows. What they should have done was try to retain original cast members to come back and do these shows. That's what I'm trying to say here. Is if you can get original cast members of some popular shows of the past couple decades, bring them in to a theater. You don't even have to do it on like a Universal set, whatnot. Put them in a theater and just shoot them doing their show.
Matt,
yeah.
Did you see Josh Gad's tweet where he said they have a recording of Book of Mormon's original cast?
Wow.
Josh Dad, University School alum.
Yeah, went to my high school. Woo-hoo.
Okay. I think that's the longest time it's ever gone without me speaking, and I'm mad.
Correct.
Hold on, I have another essay of a similar program.
Let's just not let Jesse talk.
No. This is really good. Come on, please let me speak.
Speak, and then I'd like the floor again.
So, my opinion on this is that I think maybe for these big ones, okay, cool, that's cool, put them out. But there is something extra special about going to New York, waiting in the cold. It's better in the winter. New York, way better in the winter. Waiting in the cold at that tickets line in Broadway or wherever you go, getting those tickets to that Broadway show and, going in there. Because it's just a whole process and cool experience. And,
Yeah, and that's what works really well with Hamilton, where you'll always have people who will go see it, even though this was just put on Disney Plus. Is Hamilton, seeing it in New York is such a different experience because it's, New York is so heavily referenced in the play that seeing it in New York and then walking outside and just walking in different neighborhoods that they're actually in and stuff is a really cool experience.
Something that I was just thinking about, I'm kind of on both sides now. I really don't know what to think about this, but if you put the smaller plays on these things and create more hype for them, more people want to go see them.
That is true. But there's still that other side of do they want to go spend that money? Because Broadway is like Broadway's expensive. Broadway's kind of the only thing that remains super, super expensive because all these like stuff.
Sesame Street on Broadway was so much fun, guys. Like, that was so much fun.
Get out of here.
I had a great time.
Everything on
Lion King on Broadway was so much fun.
My parents saw Phantom.
It's non-existent right now because of the pandemic.
My parents saw Phantom a couple years ago. They said it was not great, but I saw Chicago. It was awesome.
I saw Addams Family with Nathan Lane in the lead role. That was pretty awesome. I don't know if you guys really know who Nathan Lane is, but that was pretty sweet.
I've heard the name.
Yeah. It's a good actor.
So,
Matt, do you have any thoughts? Oh, Evan, do you have any thoughts?
Not really. I think I'll let you guys do the talking here.
All right. So similar to Hamilton, there was another quote-unquote film that I watched this past week, and that was The Eagles Live at the Forum 2018. Now, it was very surprising to see a concert air on ESPN. But the Forum is an iconic home for sports throughout the years, and Chris Berman introduced the show.
Hold on. The Montreal Forum or the one in Inglewood?
The Inglewood one.
You need to specify.
Yeah. So this is the Eagles. This was in 2018, and in case you didn't know, Glenn Frey, who was one of the lead singers in the Eagles back in the day, had died by then. His replacements for lead singer were his son, Deacon, and country singer Vince Gill. Both were really good. They had Don Henley. They had Joe Walsh. It was good, and it was a good escape to hear some of the Eagles' greatest hits like Take It Easy, Hotel California, and Take It to the Limit. Now, just like we don't have Broadway, we don't have concerts right now. And, right now we need more channels or streaming platforms to provide us with these concerts. I will watch them, and I have watched them in the past. I watched the Taylor Swift concert a couple months ago on ABC and watched Garth Brooks on PBS a few months ago. There's really nothing good on TV right now. So it's the summer. So why not, in this concert season without concerts, why not bring us something that we are missing right now in live music?
I think only Max, Matt, and I will have this take. I think Max knows the Eagles, right?
I know a couple songs.
Favorite Eagles song? Everybody go.
Hotel California.
Yeah, Hotel California. It's the generic answer, but it's the right answer.
Take It Easy. Take It Easy. That's mine. I love Take It Easy. This song's good, though.
I hate Take It Easy because I once answered Taking It Easy on a trivia night, and it cost my team the win. So
I hate the effing Eagles. Only Max will get that. That's from Big Lebowski. He literally gets out of he gets thrown out of a cab because the cab driver likes the Eagles and is playing.
All right,
the Eagles.
Jesse, good job. Way to take it to a place we were.
Can I just say that, like, I did not expect ESPN to air a concert film.
Yeah, they're really.
That was, I mean, thank goodness sports are supposed to come back this week, even starting with Major League Soccer, because
FC Dallas isn't going to be there.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
really, I was really looking forward to Reggie Cannon coming back and playing well.
Okay, fun fact about FC Dallas. I just found out the MLS Hall of Fame is here, like in Dallas. I did not know that before, like the other day when I drove by
there for the show.
Why did they put it here?
Can you go do a vlog from there?
Probably not. But like that's wild. Why did they pick Dallas? Go figure exactly.
Well, why would they pick anywhere USA? Like USA is just not.
It's Harbor, bro.
The MLS Hall of Fame. It's the MLS Hall of Fame. But you think of the teams that are usually good. It's like Seattle, either LA team, either New York team, Chicago. You know, like I feel like FC Dallas is never relevant.
Did you know that the National Mustard Museum is here? Fun fact.
I really want to go to Madison. Max,
Madison's a lot of fun.
Max,
National Mustard Museum.
How's the COVID there?
Well, not too bad, I don't think. It's okay.
Better.
I fly there instead of
we were in phase 3, but then we had to roll back to phase 2. But I've heard we're going like solid in phase 2, so maybe we might get out of it soon.
Wait, Wisconsin is a state where they have fans at baseball games. I know that because I saw a report on that.
Well, Wisconsin is open. It's just Madison isn't, because we've got people that care in charge.
We had over 200 people at a baseball game yesterday.
It was fine though. It was literally fine, honestly. It was like nobody was really sitting. Like everybody's group was about 6 feet apart.
They're clustered together, yeah.
And there's been one case here in the past, like two cases in the past month in this county.
Well, that's what county you're living in, and why if you want to restart sports, they should go to these Great Plains states. Like there's.
My county has like 5,000 cases a day.
I've been saying Missoula and Bozeman would be a great place for the NFL to go. Just saying.
They could bubble anything they want and put them in one of the Dakotas or.
They're just stubborn and they're like still hoping for fans. It's just so dumb.
I mean, the NHL picked Edmonton as a hub city. That's not too far from you guys.
I might
the
go.
Border's closed, so
I might
go.
Can't go.
Why not? Wait, why not? They're not allowing fans.
They're not allowing fans.
Not yet, at least.
I think.
Yeah, and the border's also shut down, so that's going to be an issue as well.
Well, I mean, I'm an essential worker. You think they'll let me in?
Yeah, essential workers can go over.
Yeah.
This is a wild idea that they would never do because, you know, the fans wouldn't be paying anything. But I think they should hold a sweepstakes. 5,000 fans also get to join these bubbles so that we have that atmosphere. I think
Bid on it for charity. Bid on it for charity.
Bid on it for charity. There we go. Mallory just bid on it for COVID-19 relief.
These sports leagues will take the money.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, do it for charity. NFL takes 98% of proceeds.
All right. Well, I saw a movie. I watched it because Max got it into my head last week on the show. Creed 2. It was fantastic.
It's a good movie.
It is now in my top half of Rocky movies. So I will rank my Rocky/Creed movies. Stallone, again, does his second best. Stallone's best acting in this whole series has been in Creed 1 and Creed 2. And it's in Rocky Balboa, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
But my favorite Rocky's Rocky 3. No, Rocky is my favorite Rocky. I'm blanking. Rocky 3, Rocky 2, Creed 2. I believe I put Rocky Balboa 5, Creed 1, Rocky 4, and Rocky 5.
It's about time you got to Rocky 4. That movie's awesome.
Rocky 4.
It's terrible, but it's hilarious.
Rocky 4 is literally just.
I love how Max rates his movies. How he's like, it's terrible, but it's hilarious.
Oh, Rocky 4 is the cheesiest thing in the world. The training montage is ridiculous because it's
the robot
American
being. The robot storyline is amazing. Like everything is so funny in that.
it's so dumb, but it's still enjoyable. Like you still love it.
I'm very surprised you don't like that movie. I feel like that's the most iconic one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one with the Drago.
I agree. I think it's the most iconic one.
That's the one everybody remembers. You can argue it's maybe not the best like cinematography or whatever, but like in terms of just like relevance and the one that everybody like knows about, that's number one.
It ended the Cold War.
the movie and the scene
It played a role.
Look, I'm from Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. Like the scene and the movie that I like the most is from Rocky 2, and it's the scene where Adriana's in a hospital bed telling Rocky, "Win."
That's fine, Adrian.
Win. They play that before every Eagles game at Lincoln Financial Field, before a montage of Rocky training and Eagles players.
I hate the Eagles.
That's the most Philadelphia thing I've ever heard in my life.
But the other line from that movie that makes it my number one is, "Yo, Adrian, I did it."
I'm going to preface this with saying, I think I tweeted this. I don't remember. If any of the Rocky movies other than 5 are your favorite Rocky/Creed movie, I'm 100% okay with it. And if 5 was a standalone movie, it's a solid 3-star movie.
Creed 1, awesome. Baby. Creed 1.
They're all awesome.
It's my favorite.
All amazing. It's literally everything you want in an inspirational sports movie. There is the underdog, going the distance and then winning, and then, it's just spoiler alert. Sorry. These movies have been around for a while, except for Creed 2. But yeah, they're all great. Like the evolution of Stallone from where he starts to where he, ends up, and then back down to where he, lands. But then, the whole storyline of after, they get to Rocky 6, I think is really interesting. So, I just think the whole franchise is great. And if you like any of them except for 5 as your favorite, I don't disagree.
And they really show kind of the development of Stallone as an actor.
Yeah.
Because Rocky 1 was one of his first big roles, and then when you get into those middle Rockies 3, 4, 5, that was when he was action movie Stallone. So he stopped taking it as seriously and was kind of joking. And now it's circled back to him being a serious, really prestige actor who's really going hard because he knows that these are his last probably big roles that he's gonna have. So it's really fun to watch that kind of progression also.
Yeah, definitely. All right, do we want to get to what are we doing now?
We can do that.
Yeah, I want to do it. Do you guys have what are we doings?
Yeah.
No.
Max doesn't have one. Okay.
On the fly.
I like to stay positive.
Just not for COVID. All right, I'll start off. Major League Baseball has the literal best system possible for a bubble, and they are not doing it, and they are thinking they're traveling when they don't have enough tests. Literally, they could put one league at one, spring training facility and another league at the other spring training facility. The spring training facilities are secluded. Think Goodyear, Arizona. Surprise. Even Peoria is kind of out there in the middle of nothing. These spring training facilities have tons of practice fields where they could play games, put the cameraman up on a, forklift for whatever, reason there. They could put one league in one city, one league in the other city, and they could play this as a bubble. They wouldn't have to have as many tests as they're having trouble apparently getting because of 4th of July. And so, I just think it's ridiculous that they're trying to play these games in the cities. Also, I would go back to I don't care. I would go back to, this is my ridiculous take. I would go back to where the top team in each league plays a World Series and they make it a best of 9 after a 2-week quarantine somewhere for both teams. No expanded playoffs or anything like that. And
Tie.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. Matt, I have one for you. It's not for you. It's just for Philadelphia.
What do we do now?
What is Austin Krell? Who is he? Do you know
Who?
Austin Krell? Austin Krell is a journalist, covers the Sixers, writes about the NBA, draft analyst, some guy, NBA dash.
What website? If this is The Athletic, I have no comment.
Anyway,
I like The Athletic.
he tweeted, Jimmy Butler is shooting below 25% from three-point range. Is averaging a career high in turnovers. Is he playing dominoes in his gym for 6.5 hours? Talking about Jimmy Butler getting to the gym at 3 a.m. and then practice started at 10 a.m. No, Jimmy Butler is not playing dominoes. He's working on his rebounding, his passing, and everything else because his field goal percentage is one of the best of his career when he's next to the rim. So Jimmy Butler has been one of the best players in the NBA this season, and no one's talking about him, and he's led the Heat to top 5
Look, he
seeds
is. Yeah,
in the Eastern Conference.
he's having a great. Yeah.
So here we go. Let's talk about this. Averaging career high in assists, rebounds, and makes everyone on his team better. Also has one of the best best defensive players in the NBA.
Stop complaining.
We-
Y'all
we're-
have
we-
3
we-
championships in your lifetime.
Mallory.
Stop complaining.
Mallory, say it with me. We
Stop
live
complaining.
rent-free in Sixers fans' heads.
You live
Rent-free.
rent-free in everybody's head. Stop complaining. LeBron James left his hometown to join you.
Rent-free.
What
And then returned to his
happened in
hometown.
2011, though?
And then left again.
Yeah, but
Talk about 2011.
Wait, what happened in
we'll talk about
2011?
2011 when we
Hey,
made
Evan.
it to the finals and lost in 6
Evan,
games.
I know you were 5 years old when this happened, but 06 was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I liked 06 because I liked
You got some
Shaq.
help.
I
You got
cheered for the Heat.
some help
Like,
there. I don't really count that one.
I cheered for the Heat in all of their finals other than the Dallas one. Actually, no, I cheered for the Spurs because I wanted the old guys to win. So I cheered for you guys and everyone but the last Spurs and the Dallas one. I kind of favor
Tim
Texas.
Donaghy was your
sometimes over-
MVP in 06, bud. Don't forget that.
06 was a lot of fun.
The Heat are winning.
Guy's so annoying.
I cried.
Oh
I mean,
my
I
gosh.
cried. Like, how many times did I cry? A lot.
Jeremy, try being a Wizards fan.
You probably cry a lot.
Literally, dude. I watch the
It must suck.
No,
here's the
thank
decade
you.
of the 70s and then just suck for 40 years.
Wow. Oh,
Sounds like the Marlins.
Dolphins.
Sounds like the Dolphins who
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been through it.
Yeah, with what? Yeah, the thing that I hate is that he complains about the Marlins when he has a World Series that he clearly remembers in 2003. Why is
clearly
that?
They
I
sold
don't
the team
remember.
4 times.
He was only team 4 times. I got a World Series with Miguel Cabrera.
Anyway, what are we doing? Austin Krell.
All right, I guess I'll go next then. So I kind of teased this already at the beginning of the show, but EA Sports keeps getting, or actually it's 2K. 2K keeps getting their cover athletes wrong for their NBA games. Like Zion Williamson, love the guy, really exciting player, but he's played 19
want it to
games
be?
in the
Luka?
NBA. I mean, I can think of a list of like 30 players I would put on the cover over Zion.
Isn't
I
Dame
would
on
put,
the
like,
cover? Like the big cover?
Bam
Like,
Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero on the cover because
Okay.
they've all
we're
played more
talking.
games in the NBA than Zion.
Here's
Like,
my
you
thing, though.
can't
Here's my
play-
thing, though.
You
If
can't
I
play
talk-
19 games in the league and be on the cover of 2K. Like,
Okay, here's my thing, though. If I show a casual basketball fan a picture of 10 players and Zion is one of them, and all those players you just mentioned are the other ones, none of those casual fans can name anyone but Zion. Zion is a top
Okay,
5
think
most
about-
recognizable
think
player in
about
the
all
NBA. Right?
guys who haven't been on the cover yet. Luka's never been on the cover.
Nobody's
Kawhi
recognizing
Leonard-
Luka outside of NBA
Leonard's never
fans.
been on the cover. You could put any of the Warriors players on the cover. Like,
No, you could put
Steph's already been
Steph
on
on
there.
the
You
cover.
could put Klay on the cover, even though he's hurt. He'd be more deserving than Zion is right now because he's played 19
It's
games in
not
his
about-
career.
It's not about deserving, though. It's about recognizability.
Okay, but
Not a
this is
word.
the team.
But like, have
Let's
they
not
proven
forget
themselves
what
in
they
the
did.
league?
Let's not forget last year when they put D-Wade on the cover over Dirk, even though they retired the same year,
Okay.
and Dirk's never been on the cover of 2K
Okay,
either.
why don't
But
we
D-Wade's
Hey,
better.
2 of them
I mean,
on the
2K,
same cover?
2K, you need to start getting this right, or I'm gonna stop buying your games. What are you doing,
Dude,
2K?
why don't you just buy the Kobe edition or the Damian Lillard is the main cover athlete. Like the Zion is just like the young one.
Yeah, he's the
right?
next
Like,
gen one. Yeah, he's like the next gen. Yeah.
gen cover athlete. Like it's not like he's the man. Buy the Damian Lillard one or the Kobe one, which is what everyone's gonna buy.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm stingy, so I'll probably end up getting that one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right, Mallory. Do you have a what are we doing?
Are you on the Austin Krell hate train with me, Mallory?
Is that the reporter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us why the Heat are so great.
What?
Tell us why Miami is so great and the Heat are so great and
Okay. Since you
so
asked.
much world revolves around Miami.
Talk about your road record this year.
Well,
I don't even get that
See,
joke.
We've lost 2 games at home this season, so.
yeah, we were
Yeah,
literally.
what about on the road? You gonna be at home in this?
Why are we talking about the road and home?
We're in Miami. We're in Florida, so. Yeah.
Like the Heat, like it's okay that they have a bad road record because they have the best home record. It balances out.
And they're bringing their court with them to Orlando to practice on. They'll be fine.
Yeah, and you know where they're putting it? Right next to the Pacers court.
I really hope T.J. Warren and Jimmy Butler don't see each other in the hallway.
Well, Jimmy Butler.
I'm so excited for the fights.
Jimmy Butler told the Pacers coach, "Don't put him on me, like he can't guard me." So.
Yeah.
I really want T.J. Warren to drop like 30 because T.J. Warren's a really good NBA player and has gotten better, like, and has worked on his game. So, like, I really just want him to drop 30 points on Jimmy Butler and shut him up.
Did Matt do a what are we doing yet, Matt?
No, I'm still I'm finalizing mine in my head, but Mallory still hasn't done
Mallory, do you have one?
Okay, no one's gonna care about mine.
I will care.
Mine has to do with TikTok drama.
Do it.
Okay, I'm in on this.
Okay,
Max likes TikTok.
Then watch TikToks. So, Little Huddy cheated on Charlie D'Amelio like back in the day, right? But now it's all coming out. Everyone's exposing everyone. Okay, Lil Huddy tweeted this an hour ago. Keo cheated on Olivia. Griffin cheated on Dixie. Anthony got with Cynthia. It's everyone.
Griffin cheated on Dixie?
I know. What is love?
This is a drama between like 14 and 18-year-olds. Like that's like the age demographic here, between 14 and 18.
Charlie D'Amelio is trending on Twitter.
No, if you go on this Instagram account called TikTok Room right now, they're posting all the tea, right? Like they're all saying like all the guys are probably like, oh, I'm about to pull up, say this stuff to my face. Anyway, Charlie D'Amelio deserves better. She's unproblematic. She deserves someone better than Chase Lil Huddy, and that's that.
His name is Chase Hudson. He's not able to be called Lil Huddy anymore. He's alive.
By the way, Charlie is over party is trending. She's a 16-year-old girl. Can we please not cancel a 16-year-old girl?
That's a great what are you doing idea.
What are we doing?
Twitter has been way overreacting these last couple weeks. Like they're trying to cancel something new every day. I feel like
it's
like.
I mean,
people were saying cancel Canada Day. Like, what is that garbage?
Look, I
get
could go
it.
on a political rant about cancel culture. I really don't want to.
Yeah. Next topic.
Whenever you go on those though, it's like a bunch of like 300 tweets that's just K-pop like fan cams and stuff. Like nobody's actually trying to cancel anything. Like if you go on the whatever is over party, it's just K-pop fan cams for like the first 300 tweets.
I think about it. The K-pop fandom can like literally take over the world. That's how
they
scary.
Really can.
Okay. So when I go on those, I can never find what they're actually being canceled for. Like, I'm like, Is there a news source that says something? Like, I had to dig so far down for whatever Jimmy Kimmel was canceled for. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like,
is all K-pop videos. All of it.
Should I just cancel myself for fun? For just like a day?
I'll cancel. I think we could all like cancel Jesse.
I'm just gonna cancel myself for a day and just put it out there, see what happens.
We'll get it trending. We'll all get it.
Yeah, can we get it trending? Like, no, when I'm like
hashtag Jesse's over party.
When I'm on like ESPN, just announce that I'm canceling myself for the day.
Tweet it from the show account. Hashtag Jesse is over party. and I'll retweet it.
Okay, my what are we doing is going to be brief. Max touched on it at the beginning of the show. Look, Deshaun Jackson, I don't know what the hell you said. Whatever you said was wrong. But also, you disappeared last season. Deshaun Jackson, what are you doing? Get back on the field.
Or off the field. I'm down with him off the field now.
Honestly, no, retire. You didn't.
Wait,
Yeah.
You didn't impact one game last
have
year.
that-
You know what?
Wait, does Deshaun
Actually, he
still
was
have-
really
have his
good when
knees?
he played last year. Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
but one game, and guess what? Who it was
I
against?
get it, Valerie.
It was against Washington.
Hold on.
Put the fairy
Do you
emoji.
still have that show on BET? That show actually
No,
looks like kind of good. You
I
know what
didn't
I'm talking about. right?
Jackson had a show.
And yeah.
I'm over,
I
guys,
hope
on
that-
our show.
No, he's not invited on this show, but he had like some BET special that actually looked like decent. No, like I have no idea if it's still on or not, but maybe he should go back to doing that.
I just saw something on my Twitter. We need to do a whole show about Cool Runnings and how good of a movie that is.
Cool Runnings is so good.
I would love to watch Cool Runnings again.
Oh, speaking of Montana, I watched the SC feature that was on yesterday about the girls boxing club on one of the tribal lands. That was really good.
There's a girls boxing, or not girls boxing. There's a girls wrestling team at University of Providence here.
There's Jeremy with absolutely adding nothing to the show.
Welcome inside of the SWX Helena Home Studio. This is where I will be filming from this week, actually.
How was the Jesse? You need to give us a recap of American Legion baseball in Montana.
Jesse, with the most awesome.
No, I'll just play it. I'll just put it on my phone. It's fine.
Jesse got to call a walk-off yesterday.
What? Homer or just single?
It was a single, but it was good.
Wow.
But for this walk-off, it was an exhibition game where you could have 10 plus players bat. It was just a fun game after all.
It was an exhibition game.
Hold on.
Swung on and lofted to center, and it'll get down, and the Senators will walk it off. Forrest Suero coming up big. And the Senators score 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th. They're trying to find him with Gatorade or water, and they toss it. Suero, a huge weekend for number 22. And that's the game, the final score. 11-10. Helena wins on a walk-off.
What a play! What a call by Jesse Morrison, guys.
Mike, I can add that to my reel. But
Forrest Suero, how about that?
Forrest Suero, he's good.
Defensive lineman for Helena Bengals too.
Yeah, 5'10", 240, and you can't tell that he's 240. He's got some muscles.
That's good to know.
Yeah, he might be drafted, right, Jeremy?
Let's not go that far.
Oh, bummer.
He is from Helena, Montana. Let's get him on the show.
We should get him on the show. I would definitely like that interview.
I think I want Myers on the show.
Hmm?
We got to get Myers on the show before the season resumes.
Yeah, well, weren't you supposed to do that this week?
I didn't talk to him.
Off-air discussion.
Okay, all right. Let's roll through these last few segments because I am ready to go. Max, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
No.
Going to leave us when we're going to talk about UFC.
All right, bye.
Bye, Max.
All right, is it time for me to time these segments again?
Yeah.
No. Do like 3 minutes per segment.
No, we did it a minute last time. Y'all got done.
Okay, but the NASCAR Xfinity race needs to be longer because
No one cares about NASCAR.
the end of that race was insane.
There was a nice pass, and the cup race was
Did you see?
boring. And then hold on, wait. I wrote a joke that I saved for the show. You ready? Hold on. Denny Hamlin. I'm cruising to another win, getting to win at the Brickyard for the first time, boring all the casual fans to death. Denny Hamlin's front right tire. Hold my FedEx delivered beer.
That's a good one.
All
right. Well, I guess we'll just stick with NASCAR and then go to Bachelorette. That Xfinity race. Good idea, NASCAR, for moving their Xfinity race at Indy to the road course there.
I love that.
Briscoe misses a turn.
That's
and
so
then-
crazy. Missed the turn because he does not know. Like, it's not like he's been doing the same lap for like over 120, 50, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't even get any practice laps. on this thing.
It's not like he's been doing it for forever. Misses the turn. There's like 10 laps left. And then he just starts to go and like gets back. Somehow he passes them. We went 3 wide on a road course. Matt. You believe
It
it?
was crazy. And Briscoe came back with the great pass at the end there. That was awesome. And then Harvick won another snoozer of a cup race.
By the way, I'm not a fan of NBC's NASCAR coverage. I'm sorry.
Oh, really? I like Dale.
I like Dale, but I like Jeff Gordon better. I'm sorry.
I think I like Dale a slight bit more than Jeff Gordon.
I like Jeff
But
Gordon.
I like
better.
Mike.
And
Mike
Larry Mack.
Joy.
I like Larry Mack on Fox.
Mike Joy is like a top 5 play-by-play announcer.
Agreed. Rick Allen's all right. He's younger.
Yeah, he's all right. But
Can't be worse than NBC's hockey coverage.
I mean,
They have
I hate
Jeremy
Penny Allen.
Roenick as a
Sorry.
studio analyst, Jesse.
they
Jeremy Roenick is awful. He does not know.
Fired. He got canceled.
Oh, you're right. He did get fired.
I like
Okay, Pierre Maguire then.
They redeemed-
Like you can throw any name out there and they're bad. Like no
they
one on
redeemed
NBC
themselves.
is that good.
They redeemed
Jeremy
themselves.
knows what I'm talking about.
They redeemed
like-
themselves with the greatest play-by-play announcer in the entire country.
Doc.
He hit
Stop.
the post with the dog.
Off the post.
Okay, like their play-by-play guys are good because they
Yeah.
borrow them from other networks. They have Chris Cuthbert, like Gord Miller and Ray Ferraro on all the time, but they're not exclusively NBC
Kenny
employees.
Albert's
Like
not
Gordon
good.
Ray,
I hate hearing Kenny Albert on hockey.
How do you feel
I
about
just think
Rico?
I like Kenny. I like Kenny a lot.
I like
but
Kenny
that's
as the
beside the
number
point.
4 football guy on Fox, not a
There-
hockey guy.
How about
He's
Tirico
pretty
calling
good,
games?
in my opinion at least. But anyway, like their studio analysts are garbage. Like they need to get that sorted out because Jeremy Roenick literally just
Keith Jones.
I mean,
Look,
he's not on anymore.
Trash
but
my
when he
boy
was-
Keith Jones. Please don't.
Okay, you're just saying that because he's a Philly guy. Like,
Because he's a Flyers
you
man.
think,
Yeah.
you think I don't know that, man? Yeah, but anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, we got
All right.
sidetracked.
I think they should somebody needs to put Gary Thorne doing hockey again somewhere.
Yes.
But we'll transition to. We're not really transitioning, but
We'll stay on the hockey.
we'll stay on
topic.
hockey. Hockey is
Back.
Back.
August 1st, you think it's going to happen, Evan?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, there were 9 more positive tests today. But I mean, again, like no one's playing hockey yet. Like they're still out like in their daily lives. And that's probably where most of these positive tests are coming from.
Right.
I think you might have talked about this on previous shows. I haven't been around for a while, but I think they got the 2 hub cities exactly right. I
did say
especially
it.
love the
You did.
marketing that Edmonton
said-
has been doing
You
for this tournament. Like they had these promos that showed like it was a picture of like Hawaii or something, but it was like come tubing in the crystal clear waters of the North Saskatchewan River. And like there was like the Rockies in the background, which is like 2 hours away from the city. Like they had fun with this, and I had a good chuckle at that. But yeah, they're moving pretty quickly on this. The teams have to finalize their rosters by July 10th, I think. So it'll be really
I
interesting.
thought it was
to
July
see.
8th.
It could be. But
It's
in any
whenever.
case, it's going to be
It's
soon, and it'll be
Well,
really
maybe it's
interesting.
the
to see.
the players have to decide whether they're going to opt in or opt out.
Right. That's what I was getting at there. It's
Wow.
like going to be interesting to see who decides to sit this out. I think most people will go. Obviously, there's some guys with conditions that might be putting themselves at risk, like Max Domi, Capo Caco, Luke Cunnin, or a couple guys who have been mentioned. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the setup they've got is pretty good. You know, daily testing, all that stuff. Can't leave the bubble. So, I really hope it works. And hopefully it's a good playoffs. That's all I have to say.
I hope it works and go Caps.
I'm confused because all the Panthers Canadian players took a jet from Canada back to Fort Lauderdale the other day. And now on Instagram, Mike Hoffman's like back in Italy, and I'm confused because I thought like they had to like start reporting to like
Maybe he's not going to play.
that was a big question mark.
They don't have to be in the hub cities just yet. Like the practices, like
the report to the hub cities July 1st.
No, no one's like actually there yet, except for the teams that are playing there. Like
I meant like their home cities is what I meant.
Well, training camps are optional. So like the players that have been practicing on the ice, it's been purely voluntary. And honestly, with what's going on in South Florida right now, like I don't blame Mike Hoffman for just like deciding to jump ship entirely and go like across the ocean. That seems like a good strategy, honestly.
Yeah, because he was here for like 2 days, and then all of a sudden he was in Italy again. Like, good for him. Have a good.
A lot better.
I also think it's cool that they're letting the families show up for the conference finals and Stanley Cup finals. Obviously, they'll be tested like really frequently too. But it'll be nice to have like some bodies in the seats at least.
That's cool. Are they gonna chant? Like, are they gonna cheer? Like, what's gonna happen?
Probably, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
Scheduling is going to be a nightmare though. We're talking like triple headers every single day of the playoffs, which like as a fan, I absolutely love. Like it's going to be nonstop hockey for like a month and a half. But for the rink staff and like the players, that has to be like such a hassle.
It's just like working at Oceanside. Like the Zamboni driver at Oceanside works a full Saturday. Like
yeah, Oceanside has like quadruple headers.
Yeah, they play adult hockey at 11 p.m.
Yeah, they do the adult hockey after the women's hockey games.
Mallory and I were calling a game at 1 in the freaking morning because Oceanside. Like,
yeah,
that was fun though, Mallory. Mallory's good at hockey play-by-play. You should listen. To her. No, she's really good. She's better than me.
Well, because I know more about hockey.
To my advice, unlike you.
Ooh. Shots fired. I hope I can get in there for some games next year for the women's team. Like women's hockey is underrated. Like for any viewers out there who might not be high on women's hockey, like it's a show. It's a show for sure.
Yeah, the women's hockey team though, they're still planning on having their training camp within the next few weeks. So for the
you should write about it.
Yeah, where's the article? Get the article out now. Come on.
It's almost ready.
All right, the Bachelor, Bachelorette go of this week were two, actually. The first Bachelor and the first Bachelorette. And I've got really two takes on this. Number one, the women have aged way better than the men. And number two, the style of the early 2000s is awful. Baggy suits were atrocious.
But even though the style was atrocious, that segment where they had Nicole and Demi on judging everyone's style was not necessary.
Especially Demi. Like, Demi can... I wish I had the Magic Johnson, emoji where he's shaking his head.
I'm not gonna be here.
I'm not gonna be here. like Demi is so like, ugh. But I don't know. Right. Cassie came on though, and she talked about Colton and everything, and she didn't give any information.
She gave Tom Brady answers. 100% gave Tom Brady answers. Like she was like saying nothing at all.
Mallory, your thoughts?
Cassie did not want to say anything, but I think Chris Harrison kind of called her out, like how it's always been a friendship. I think Cassie's always seen it as a friendship between them, and Colton wanted more. Like, they were together for a whole, year and a half, and Colton was like, okay, are we going to get engaged now? That's probably, what happened, the downfall of the relationship. She just wanted to, keep going slow and stuff like that, and she just wasn't that into him. That's all.
Werder Bremen? How that? You see that game?
I think that Cassie.
Okay, we're not going to talk about Bundesliga.
No, we're going to get there. But I think that Cassie personally, she just seems like a person that might be a little too chill, in my opinion. She's so cool that I don't think she
doesn't care.
I don't think she's as passionate about things as she should be.
I think she just sits back and expects things to continue to drag out and doesn't want to move forward with their relationship just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think she's, so beautiful. But like, I don't know how I feel about her.
It's just the
as a
name.
person.
The name.
I'm just gonna leave that in.
Anyway, the Bundesliga relegation battle was here, and guess what? Werder Bremen staying up 60 years in the top flight, and they're still here, guys. They're still here. Werder Bremen. I cannot believe that game. It was an amazing performance by the team, and guess what? They stood their ground, stayed up after that big goal in the 88th minute, I think it was. Actually, it was the 91st minute when they scored to take the lead. And actually, towards the end of the game, the other team got a penalty and was able to pull it back, but it wasn't enough because Werder Bremen had away goals. The away goals rules Jesse loves so much. When you're tied, you win because you had more away goals. You love that rule, right?
I hate that.
Mhm.
I hate that rule so much. But then Masvidal is going to fight Island, which is happening this weekend. Masvidal versus Guzman. Yeah,
They almost passed each other on the way to the
Usman.
elevator. Wow.
Kamaru Usman is what
Did you guys see that?
Masvidal is the guy in UFC right now. He is the guy, and I'm excited. I've not been this excited for a UFC fight since like when it returned like a few weeks ago.
Look at them. Look at them almost pass each other going to the elevator. Ready? This is Masvidal. Masvidal is going in and he's walking out.
Look at that stare. He goes, it's going to be a classic, I think. It is going to be a classic. All right. Well, Mallory and I care about this. Tavia Tapley, former ASM
Tap.
she is going to Italy. She's going to Italy to play a professional. No, I've got to do a new trick.
Well, yeah.
I got to do the same trick.
Wait, Jesse, can you say the name of the team she's going to?
Absolutely not.
I saw this on Twitter, and it was like a long one. It was tough to say.
No.
Magic with Morrison.
No, Magic with Morrison is going to say the same trick this week. After all, because
That's all we're gonna say about Tapley.
I don't know. Jeremy was trying to move things along.
Tap.
Mallory, what was?
I just wish we could have seen her play longer. Like she was a senior transfer, and she was really starting to shine. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it was. In my opinion, they should have this wouldn't have included her, but I thought of this today. Why didn't they make a bubble and play a Final Four between the top 4 teams, especially in women's? Those teams were so good this year that like they were gonna get there anyway. Why don't we just?
Sabrina stayed like to win the championship.
Yeah, like why didn't they just do something in like a practice facility somewhere? Like
Yes,
just
no
so
one knew
unfortunate.
what we were doing with anything back in March. So
yeah, like in my opinion, all of these leagues and NCAA and whatever should build bubbles. Start building bubbles.
Have contingency plans moving forward.
I hope so.
that's what you hope to have.
So that this doesn't happen anymore, because like
All right.
pandemics are always a threat.
Are you ready for me to read polls or?
No, I've got
Magic with Morrison.
Magic with Morrison. I'm gonna stick. Jeremy and I
read polls as we do Magic with Morrison.
Jeremy and I were going.
I'm still thinking about the card trick from last week because he just you never put the card underneath. You just kept it on here.
No, just let me do this trick for Evan. I think he'll be amazed.
Okay, Evan.
I'm a magician now, Evan. Okay, so all right.
Covering our screen so Jesse can see it.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So I've shuffled them up. Now see, look, perfectly fine deck of cards.
If it's the 9 of diamonds again, I'm losing it.
I'm going to take
the
first card off the deck. All right, see it?
You see the card, Evan? Is that your card?
Is that your card?
I can see the bottom half of the card, yeah.
Okay, okay. He can see the card. If you see the card.
Still the bottom half of the card.
Yeah, we just move it. I'm not looking.
I know which card it is. We're good.
Camera's here.
Okay, see, look.
I just need to be
now I'm gonna put the card back.
He's gonna put the card back.
I put the card back. Now I'm gonna move it to the bottom.
He's moving it to the bottom.
Moving it to the bottom.
No, that was a different card. We can see.
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? Jeremy, you're amazed, right?
I'm amazed.
Yeah, Jeremy's amazed. Matt's amazed.
Evan, you saw that, right? You thought it was a different card.
The card you showed me was a face card, and the other one was like a 5, bro.
Look at this. Look at this. It's raining cards.
It's raining cards like it's raining money for Mahomes.
Wow. Wait. Hold on.
I don't think this trick works in front of a camera.
You slid like the 5 of hearts underneath.
But
Something
no,
like that.
I literally, it was the same card. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
saw it. I saw
All right,
it.
read the polls.
We have 2 witnesses here.
25s.
Go
Poll.
fish.
Yeah, read the polls.
Every time I FaceTime Jeremy and Jesse this week, they're playing Go Fish.
Win
Is
once.
your YouTuber always moving into a new place and planning on doing a vlog about it? 5 votes, 60% say no.
Aw, boo.
Do you miss the oversized baggy suits of the early 2000s? 81% of respondents say no.
How many
Does
votes?
Chris Harrison need an iron for his shirt? 80% of respondents say yes. Is Chris Harrison showing more chest hair each episode? Or no, is Chris Harrison showing more chest each episode? 100% of respondents say yes. Do you like poetry? 60% of respondents say yes.
Good.
Do the fantasy suite scenes make you uncomfortable? 100% of respondents say yes.
They can cut with the door closing.
Is it still painful to watch? 100% of respondents say yes. Are you shocked that Zion is 20? 100% of respondents say yes. Let me just refresh this. Okay. Would you want a cameo from Shooter McGavin? 75% of respondents say yes.
That it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh wait,
I can't believe we didn't do a Hamilton poll. We didn't come up with anything that would be good for Hamilton.
Oh, like Peggy?
Yeah, just Peggy question mark. Where's Peggy question mark?
Peggy's been real quiet since this movie. I'm just letting you know. Like,
Peggy's been real quiet since Act 1.
yeah, I'm just letting you know.
All right, that'll do it for the Why So Serious show this week. Follow us on Twitter at the letter Y and then So Serious Show. I might not be back next week because I am canceled. So apologies for that. Also apologies to Matt Damon for not being here. We will see you next week.
So
What's up?
An apology like written in your notes app and take a screenshot of it and post it on Twitter.
I apologize for doing absolutely nothing.
I apologize for being here.
I apologize for being here. My presence.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, Canada.
At the letter Y So Serious Show on Twitter.
We already said that.